Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started here in about 3 or 4 minutes as we wait for everybody to come in. So just stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. Hey, everybody. Heather, I cannot hear you. Looking at all my stuff, I'm not even. Oh, I'm trying to find you. Heather, I don't even have you as a Hold on, Heather. I need to make you a panelist. You're not in here as a panelist, so if you just give me a second. I'm not sure why you came in as an attendee. So let's see. There you go. There's Heather.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I was wondering,
Perfect.
like, I don't know where you are. I don't see any screen or anything, but
Yeah, my invite was just a regular one, I think.
huh.
Weird.
Well, we might not be able to see your face then. We'll see.
We don't normally see my face, and that's awesome.
Oh, all right. Well, sometimes I have, people want
Oh,
their
you mean
face.
my little picture? Yep, no, we're good.
Some people want to be able to see everybody.
No. You just get my
Well, they
presentation
can't
instead
see
of my face.
Yeah, right. Some people enjoy being on screen,
Mm-mm. No, ma'am, I do social media for a reason.
right? Well, welcome everybody. We're going to get everything set up here. Sorry for the delay, but welcome. Heather always does amazing presentations, so you guys are going to enjoy this. I will be sending out to all of you that are with us an email at the end of the day with a recording of this plus the slides. So you'll get a copy of the slides so you don't have to worry about taking too many notes. And then we're going to have a really large group today. So I would like to not use the raise your hand. It seems to be a little cumbersome when we do that with a large group. So if you could type your questions in the chat or in the Q&A, that would be perfect. Oh, I think that's about it. What do you think, Heather?
I'm all set whenever you guys are.
All right, let's do it. We have a couple more people trickling in, I see, but that's okay.
Well, perfect. I appreciate it. And Laura, thank you for inviting me back. Always love doing webinars with SCORE. It's an awesome organization. If you're here for the first time or you're not familiar with SCORE and its platforms, please make sure you check out their website. You probably have a local affiliate, and just check out all that they have to offer. The price is right. The mentors are fantastic. It's just an awesome organization. So make sure that you check it out. I always put in a little plug for SCORE because they are fantastic. Couple of caveats for the day. My friend Laura will help let me know when there are questions in the chat because all I can see on my screen is the presentation. So she's always good to stop me and let me know if somebody has a question. You do not have to save them up for the end. But what will happen is 20 minutes after we are off of the webinar, you'll think of something. You will get my information here in the presentation. So please feel free to email me or text me with questions. Phone is a little bit more difficult just because I'm pretty hard to get. I'm running all over the place, but I'm happy to answer anything that I can. So if you don't think of it while we're, in the webinar, don't worry. You'll get the information. You can reach out to me, and a lot of people do. So don't feel like you're imposing. It's just part of my give back for working with SCORE. So when I start a presentation, I also like to let people know we will not talk about paid Facebook ads today. That's kind of its own animal. So everything that we talk about today is free of charge. Let me put it that way because you're going to see why that way here in a minute. And available to every Facebook user on a business page. So just a heads up there. So I like to start every presentation with what social media isn't, because if you are a new business user for Facebook, I want to make sure that your expectation is set where it should be, right? So I will tell you, this is why I said it the way I did it earlier. Social media is not free. There is a cost associated with social, and that's why I'm not talking about paid ads, but I will say with any marketing, you're either going to spend time or you're going to spend money. And for a lot of us, as we're just starting out, if we're new businesses, right, we have more time than we have money because we don't have all those clients to pay for all of that great marketing that we need to do. So a lot of us jump on a webinar just like this to learn how to do it the right way because we are going to be doing our own social media marketing. So just know it is a time investment if you do not want to or can't invest the money. So just a heads up there. It's not a flash in the pan. Social media is not going anywhere, I promise you. With the number of users that we have, what I will say is I guarantee it does not go away, but I do guarantee it will change tomorrow. So what we have to have is the flexibility to kind of roll with the changes and see what hoops they're making us jump through on the different platforms. So just know, once you learn a platform inside and out, they will undoubtedly change it before our very eyes, and it'll probably be at the most inconvenient time in the entire world. I know I do presentations on the platforms. I was in presentation on LinkedIn. LinkedIn changed their platform the day that I was doing my presentation, and I had to get in and change every slide within 15 minutes. Totally inconvenient, but I needed it to match what LinkedIn had. So just keep an eye on the platforms, but I promise you, social media is not going anywhere. It's not a replacement for your sales team, even if your sales team is you, right? This is just another tool in your toolbox to let prospective clients know about you and to keep current clients aware of any new products, services, nonprofits that you become involved with, anything that you want to keep them aware of, this is just a tool to do that. So this does not negate the need for a sales team or for you to be out beating feet and, shaking hands and kissing babies to get those new clients. This is just another tool in your toolbox to help you do that. And finally, as much as it hurts my heart to say, I tell everyone at every turn, social media is not your entire marketing strategy. I do this for a living and I use all kinds of other marketing tools to market my business, right? So I will, sponsor a local event. I become members of local chambers of commerce. I joined, trade specific groups. I can do paid advertising, that kind of thing. So just know social media is awesome for what it is, but it is just another cog in the wheel of all of the things that we need to do to market our business. Just a couple of Facebook facts, so at least you have some background. And I know that, statistics and demographics are not that exciting, but I figure we need to know, is this the platform we should be on? And I think we can all agree at this point, Facebook is Goliath, right? I cannot make a case for anyone to not be on Facebook, even if the only reason that you are there is to validate that you are a true business. Because I promise you, people are looking. They're probably going to Google you first, but they may go to social media platforms. If they see that you're an auto repair business, they want to make sure that you're reputable. Lots of people leave recommendations on Facebook, so they're going out and actually looking for different companies. So here are just a few facts about Facebook, right? The most widely used social media platform, 3.1 billion monthly active users. That's not all the people who have made an account and kind of it's fallen by the wayside, right? These are people who are in there actively at least once a month. And that is 68.9% of the monthly users are active every day. Now, I don't know what other platform that we could use or anything else we could do to get that kind of traffic at our availability, but it's pretty intense, right? This is a great platform to have a business on. To that end, 200 million small businesses around the world currently use Facebook pages. They're fantastic, not just for people who are on Facebook, but guess what? When they Google you, your Facebook business page is also something that helps drive your SEO. It's just one more thing that Google goes out and finds when people are looking for businesses like yours. So it is, and the price is right? They don't charge you to set up a business page. So make sure that you do that. Facebook.com is the third most visited website in the world. The first would be Google, and that particular platform has 92% market share. So if you ever get those phone calls, and I promise you will, hey, we can put you on 80 different search engines. I need you to ask yourself which one you use. 92% of us are using Google first. So why would we pay to be on this, that, or the other thing, right? 92% market share of everyone in the world is all the numbers I need for my business. So just a heads up there. The second most populous, the most visited website in the world would be YouTube, right? Everybody loves YouTube. It's a great platform for finding anything. You lose that owner's manual, you can look up a video there. The funny thing is, Google owns YouTube. So that should tell you that conversion from one to the other is pretty awesome. So Facebook would be the third. 19% of US consumers start their shopping search on Facebook. That's crazy to me, but I love that demographic. That means if I'm there, almost 20% of the people who are looking at buying any kind of goods or services are starting on Facebook to kick off their search, which is awesome. And just from a mobile perspective, because a lot of us encounter those such and such business near me texts, more than 80% of people who are accessing Facebook do it from their phone. We're not on a desktop usually. We're on the fly. We're looking for something particular. We're in a certain area looking for a restaurant, a particular kind of business. 80% of us access that from our phones. There we go. So real quick, I know there are probably folks that are very schooled in Facebook to those who have never been on there. So I always just like to give the anatomy of what a Facebook post looks like, right? So at the top, you can see who posted, you can see what day and time it was posted, but most importantly, this is where you can see what kind of engagement your posts are getting, and we love that. So just in case you'd never seen a post before, I know there are still people out there, thrills me if you are one, because now you've seen it and now you can use this tool effectively. So just a heads up there. Now here's what a Facebook page is comprised of. Okay, so you have your header, make sure that it is sized correctly, and I've got a tool for that for you later on, which is fantastic. You have your avatar, which should be sized correctly so people can see your actual logo. And by the way, if you have a personal Facebook page, that avatar should be you, not your brand. And conversely, on your business page, your header and avatar should both be very business based. You have your contact us button, or whatever you call that button, so that people can reach out to you and make contact. Very important, right? You'd spend all this time putting together a great page. If you don't have a call to action or a place for people to touch base with you, you've kind of done it all for naught, right? We need them to be able to touch base with you. Here's another one. So here's your about section on there. Make sure you fill it out completely so that people know what you're all about, okay? Your website, make sure it's typed correctly. You wouldn't believe how many people actually enter their own website incorrectly. And then again, if people want to visit your website, and by the way, this is something that I mention in every webinar as well, social media is only used as arrows pointing to your website. That is all social media is designed to do, is get people converted from reading your stuff on Facebook to having enough interest in your products or services or organization, if you are a nonprofit, to get them to click from whatever platform they're on through to your website. So you want to make sure that they can do that very easily and that the website is correct. It'll also tell you on someone's Facebook business page how quickly they reply to any kind of messages they receive. And that's key. If some people have a very long, time frame for replying, it lets you know they're not monitoring the page well. And you do receive notifications on the back end letting you know that you have a message. So people should be able to respond relatively quickly. There's an email right on here in case all of the other things fail that you can't get in touch with somebody, you can email them directly. And then of course your posts are over here on the right. This is always a great question that I get. How do I build my followers on Facebook? Because that's key, right? We can have the best content in the world, and honestly, if there's no one there to read it, it's kind of that tree that fell in the woods that no one heard, right? And we don't want that. We don't want to be the best kept secret in our business, right? We want everybody to know about us. So here are just a few ways to build your followers on Facebook if you do not want to do it from a paid perspective. And like I say, at first, many of us don't have the budget to do that. And I will tell you, it takes considerable budget to build a following on Facebook with paid. Okay, so just a heads up here. Invite people to like your page. You have to be proactive and invite them, right? So you're going to start with the low-hanging fruit: family, friends, your kids' contacts, could be coaches, school friends, whatever that looks like. Church friends, if you have folks that you go to church with in that community, make sure that you invite them to like your page. And then fellow business owners. And by the way, we should be the very first to be apt to follow those pages, because we're hoping that you follow our business page back, right? We want to make sure that we're inviting folks, but we want to make sure that we accept those invites as well, because we want to help others grow their following. And you never know, we might just need the product or service that they have. Here is another thing. I know, and if any of you are in a direct sales company, please know I will not share the name of who this is, but it was a direct sales company who encouraged their, I think they called them representatives, to go live on Facebook every single day for 30 days. And she told me that, and honestly, it made my chest ache, because I thought, whoever told you to do that clearly knows nothing about how to engage with followers. Because if I had anyone in my feed go live every single day, I honestly would unfriend them or unfollow them. Because how special is it, right? When you go live on Facebook, it should be something special. There should be a compelling reason that you are going live and calling attention to you being online, right? So it's like those, and I'm aging myself here, but back in the day, newspapers had special sections. Well, when you had a special section then every week, how special were they, right? So just remember, never ever start a Facebook Live just for the sake of saying that you went live. And Laura, we talked about this, you mentioned this earlier. Some people just like to see themselves online. That's great. You don't have to go live to do that. You can just post a video. So make sure that when you do go live on any platform, that you have a compelling reason to engage in that way. Or you're going to get this. We've all seen this, right? Now, the anticipation and oh boy, and they're clicking through to see what you're live about. And then it's, the crummy commercial. And this is timely for this time of year. So just make sure you're not giving people that ick feeling of yuck, I got tricked into a commercial, right? We don't like that feeling. People don't like to be sold to, but they don't mind buying. So we just set them up to buy from us, but we don't have to hit them in the head with a hammer to get them to do so. Other opportunities to build your Facebook following, okay? Add a Facebook button to your website. People should be able to click through. Now, most times we don't want them to go from our website back out to Facebook. Why? Because if we've gotten them from Facebook to our website and they're ready to make a buying decision, guess who they're going to buy from? They're going to buy from you, right? They don't have another option on your website. Hopefully you don't have your competitors listed on your website. I'm sure that most of us don't. So if they're going to make that buying decision, they're going to buy from us, right? We're the ones there. If we send them back to Facebook, guess who's on Facebook? Every one of your competitors. So we want to keep them captive. But a lot of times if I'm doing my due diligence, and sometimes people start at the website, they want to go out and see what your brand looks like out in the wild. It's okay to have that button, okay? Put your Facebook address on your business cards. It's a great way. You're having them printed anyway, right? Why not use the back of your card if it's blank and put all of your social platforms on there so people know where to find you? The easier we can make it for someone to find us, the more chances at bat we get to make that sale, to build that rapport with folks. Call it whatever you need, but I'm telling you, it's a great way. Anywhere I can put my addresses, that's where I put them. Listed in your email signature, right? We all send out emails. That's another platform that's not going anywhere. And I will tell you, there are people that I knew, it's probably been 10 years ago now, that were still waiting for the demise of email. Well, they're still waiting. We use it prevalently. So use that signature. You can create one very easily. You can put your logo down there. You can put a link right to your Facebook page, but just to help get people to your platform directly. Add it on the bottom of your letterhead. Some people are still using letterhead. I know I do for my business. I put it right, all of my socials on the bottom of my letterhead. We're having it printed anyway. It doesn't cost anything extra. Now, don't do that if you think you're going to change the name of it all the time. And by the way, please don't do that. Make sure that you find a name that is very close to your business name so people have an easier time finding you if they're actually doing a search for you. Put signage at your POS, which stands for not maybe what some of you are thinking, but point of service, meaning where your cash register is or your cash wrap. Never hurts, right? They're standing there. They probably have to wait on you to make some kind of a move and print a receipt. So why not put a QR code out with your Facebook page so they can connect with you? It's a great opportunity. And again, no cost. It's the cost of printing one page and having a frame. Make sure it's very professional looking. I've seen people who have written it. Don't write it. Take the time, make it look nice. Invite your email subscribers. If you have an email list, do one time every other month. Hey, just inviting you guys to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you're on, just to make sure that people are connecting with you. Because email is great, but you're not emailing them every day. You're conceivably putting up content several times per week, and emailing that often is just not to be done, right? Post it on your receipts. If you have to hand someone a handwritten receipt or a printed receipt, make sure you put your socials on there. It's a great way to connect. But most importantly, here's how you build your business page. Concentrate on content. Make it good. Make it, we're going to talk about the content that people crave here in just a little bit. So it's all about content and making sure that not only do we get followers, but keeping them is just as important. So what is the content that followers crave? It's fivefold, right? You want to have content that's creative, that's relevant, that's attractive. And by attractive, we mean attracting the right kind of folks, valuable and engaging. So there's your crave. And we're going to talk about each one of these independently. So first, be creative. And here's my favorite wise old sage, Loretta Lynn, who says, you either have to be first, best, or different. Okay? We're never probably, in all likelihood, going to be the first person who has the kind of business that we have. I am definitely not the first social media professional that ever hit the streets. Okay? Best is subjective. I promise you, my mom thinks I'm the best social media manager in the whole world, right? I'm sure your mom thinks you're the best fill in the blank. Okay. So it's subjective. We can't guarantee that we will be seen as the best by the outside world, but what we can be is different. And that's what we strive for. So that's why creativity is such an important part of putting together your content. So here are some examples of some creative stuff. I don't know if you guys are Schitt's Creek fans, but they had coasters made that said tweet us on Facebook. Now that made my little heart sing when I saw that, but I thought it was a cute post. But this was a company that was asking people them on LinkedIn because they are more business to business, and LinkedIn was a great platform for them. So this was just an example of, I know we're here on Facebook, but tweet us on Facebook and follow us on LinkedIn, right? Enterprising. This was actually a post that went out during COVID, and this is one of my friends who owns a yarn and gift emporium. She couldn't have people come in, right? They were definitely not considered, a company that had to be open. So she found a way to be enterprising and put up posts encouraging people to still interact with them without having to come into the shop. And I thought that was an awesome opportunity and a great way to leverage their social media platforms. Interactive. You want to have a conversation. It's called social media because you should be social, right? It's a conversation with your followers. So this post was fantastic. Which one of these Disney princesses would win in a steel cage match? They got a lot of answers on that. It had nothing to do with their insurance services, and it didn't matter because anyone who answered that particular post had that post go out to all of their network. People were able to see it. And sometimes it's not about what we put, and it's certainly not about what they answer, but that they answered. We're now being seen by their entire network. So just make sure to do interactive posts. We don't have the right as business folks to expect people to follow us if all we're going to do is vomit information on them and ask for a sale. And it's hard not to do that because sales are important to us, right? We want to get those people coming in. We want people to interact with our brand. But just saying, come buy from me, is not a social media marketing plan. You have to mix it up. There should be different kinds of content. And this was just a great way for them to be interactive. Be relevant. And here's Bono with lead singer U2. It's much harder to be relevant than it is to be successful. You can be successful on social media and not have a relevant thing to say, but I promise you, your followers will stick around 10 times more if you're providing them with the relevant content that they seek for where they're at in their lives at that particular moment, right? So here's some relevancy. Timely memes. I did this post, the Chambers of Commerce that I'm a member with, and it got more interaction than any other post we did that year. Everybody remembers Bernie Sanders with his mittens. Honestly, people interacted with that and it went like gangbusters. It was great. Life events. I hate reflecting on COVID, but it was a great time. If you needed testing and you didn't know where to go, this gentleman had it down, right? He knew exactly where to tell people to go. And then social responsibility, encouraging people to recycle, posting things about, come and adopt, don't shop when it comes to pets. All kinds of social responsibility posts are fantastic, and they're definitely relevant for the times that we're in. I'm going to give you a caveat. You can take it or not. It is one that I employ, and I'm hoping that most people do. Unless you are an outwardly politically associated organization, I encourage you to be careful about what political posts you use, and that's on your personal page and your professional page, because I promise you, if you've set it up right, everyone who's on your personal page also knows where you work. So hopefully I think all of us are business owners. If we're not, our posts can be reflective on the ownership. So just a heads up there. Now, if part of being political is part of your company or is part of your corporate, face that you want to put out there, that's fine, but I encourage you to be careful. At any given moment, any post that you put out there can alienate half of your prospective clients. Think about that. That's huge, right? And it doesn't have to be something scathing. It can just be something that tilts the hat enough to let people know which side of the aisle you're on. And I promise you, unless you are connected in that way or that you want that to be part of your brand, you just need to be careful. We're almost through it. We've only got, what, a couple of weeks left. So just a heads up there to be careful. So our next part of what we crave is to be attractive. And when I say attractive, I think like magnet, not like, oh, I'm so pretty, right? So goals are like magnets. They attract the things that make them come true. Your social media posts can do the same thing. You're setting out magnets to attract the kinds of followers and interactors that you want, right? So here are some things not to do that, right? Use vertically oriented pics on Facebook. You notice I didn't say reels. That's different. They are vertically oriented, but photos are not. So if you do something tall and skinny, you're going to have black bars on either side of it that are very unattractive. You should take everything horizontally based. I actually post everything at a 1080 by 1080 pixel size because I can tell you that will fit on every platform. It'll fit on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, all of them, right? So just that when I see people at events and they're taking their photos vertically, people laugh because they see me behind me and go, ooh, Heather's freaking out. They're not taking it vertically. Or they're taking it vertically. So just be careful. Take those horizontally oriented pics, okay? Don't use grainy or fuzzy images. I have seen some really cute memes I wanted to use, but they just were not high quality. They'd been reproduced and copied and all kinds of things. And I promise you, grainy and fuzzy images are a reflection on your brand. So just be careful there. Recreate it. And I'm going to show you a tool where you can do that. Okay. Don't use pre-made memes with typos. Like it or not, you're judged by the content you put out, whether somebody else was wrong, or even if you decided to put it out or you have a typo in it, people are watching. So just be careful. Make sure you proofread everything. I've seen some pretty bad typos out there that completely change the meaning of a post, so just be careful. And then last, don't use graphics with branding or websites that you have not gone yourself and seen. I have had more than one client that I've helped out of the abyss who put up a post with a website or some kind of an @ symbol and then info that led to a website that you would absolutely not want associated with your brand. So just be careful. When people make up graphics, most times they are not being nefarious. They are just putting out content, but sometimes, and it's going to be the one time you don't check, just make sure you are checking what the company is, if there's branding on there, or go to the website if there's a website embedded and you still want to use the content. Okay? Just be safe. Just be safe. Be valuable. Try not to be a person of success, but rather try to be a person of value. Because successful doesn't always mean valuable, right? There are plenty of successful companies out there that I personally don't find value in, and that's okay. They're not designed for me. That's fine. But for me, I want to be of value to my network. Anyone who follows me, I want to make sure that I'm giving them content that A, they find interesting, B, relates back to my company in some way, right? We're doing this for an end, and C, that will keep them coming back, right? I want them to see stuff, find it valuable, not only have them interact with it, but share with their network so that more eyeballs are on the content that we're putting out, right? Something that's beneficial. SCORE did this back through COVID. They were letting people know about grants that were available. That's a huge value, right? If anybody can help us get money in a time of need, they're absolutely going to be seen as a benefit. Profitable. Here's one where, here's a scholarship to apply for. Again, same thing. This could be very profitable for someone going to college, and this was great content. And then helpful. Like I say, I always try and be a resource for my network. And I realize there are plenty of people who are in my network that will never use my company. And that's okay. They can still be a valued follower. They can still let other people know about my services. So I always update and send out, hey, are you using the correct social media sizes? You want to make sure you look good. So let me help you do that. It's not costing me a dime because I promise you the people who are not, the people who would read that and do the work themselves are probably not the ones to hire me anyway, right? They're doing it on their own, and that's great. I just want to help them look good. So I try and be that kind of a helpful resource when it comes to social media. Be engaging, and we talked about this. It isn't just about let's spray and pray and we'll throw out information and we'll tell them everything about our company and they need to know every detail. I promise you they don't need to know every detail. right? If they need to know, they'll ask, but be engaging, engage with your prospective clients, right? Build it and they will come only works in the movies. Social media is a build it, nurture it, engage them, and they may come and stay. Even if you do all of those things, there's no guarantee, right? They just might be at a place where they're not ready to make a buying decision and they don't want to see all of your content. And you could be writing the most perfect content in the world, right? But we can always try to be engaging. So here are some examples. Giveaways, big red flag here. Just be careful. Every platform has different rules for giveaways. Okay. And the requirements change, so I never even throw things out there to tell you what those are. Just do your research. I'm going to take a sip real quick. I'm getting dry here. Hang on just a second. Much better. Questions. Asking questions, if you want to have people interact, is a fantastic way to do that. This is a company that works in cybersecurity, so what a great question. If you could hack into any one computer, whose would it be? And they had a lot of interesting answers, let me just tell you. So a great way to have people interact on your page is to ask a question. I had a client, love her to death, but she was a creative and she thought everything needed to be 62 pages long and we needed to constantly just talk about, various and sundry things about her business in particular. And I said, why don't we do a fun post about ice cream? Because everybody loves ice cream. And so I just I said, let me do an experiment. We put up a post that said chocolate or vanilla, and she had 65 answers within a couple of hours. Never did she get in interaction like that on another post because she wasn't in for interaction. She was vomiting information. And unfortunately, that's not what most people want. Do they need your info? Sure. But you need to wrap it up for them in a fun and creative way if you can. You can still be informative. You can still be professional. But you need to have content that folks actually want to read. I know that you have people in your feed that you're like, why am I still friends with them? Why do I have to see? You don't want people to feel like that about your company, right? You just don't. So all these kinds of interactive things can be fun. And events, letting people know that you're in an event. Let them know about an upcoming event. That's a way for you to be sharing it in interactive content. Okay. I get this question a lot. Lynn, I saw your question pop up. Yes. Okay. Good question. Should you respond to the answers? If it's chocolate or vanilla, do you feel like you need to weigh in on that? Maybe if somebody has some, and I guarantee you, and here's what I'll tell you about social media, and we always laugh about this. If you put out a post about ice cream that says chocolate or vanilla, you're going to get at least 4 different responses, right? More than that. So it's going to be chocolate, or vanilla, or both, or neither, or somebody's going to put in, I don't like ice cream at all. And then somebody's going to put, well, I don't like either one of those flavors, but I like this one. So just know when you put a question out there, they're never going to just answer the question you ask. So interacting with some, yes, it's great. It shows that you are interacting with your people, but out of 65 people who liked it, I do try and comment if somebody does put out a comment, but it doesn't mean that I have to. I always do try so that it shows interaction. And especially if they ask a question back, you want to make sure that you answer it. But you don't have to, say something for every like, right? We would spend our whole lives doing that. But great question, Lynn. I appreciate that. I get this question a lot, and it's more prevalent on Instagram than it is on Facebook. Because you can search on Instagram for these, but what is a hashtag? And I will tell you, this is how I explained it to my mother, who's like, that is the number symbol and then a word, and I don't understand what it's for, right? A hashtag connects social media content to a specific topic, event, theme, or conversation. So if I want to create a hashtag, it's basically a file folder. A hashtag is a file folder where all of the content that has that particular hashtag in it, and I'll give an example. If I use Glitter Girl Media, I can go and see what has been indexed with that particular hashtag in it if I go search on Instagram, right? So again, it's just a place to keep everything together. So the question is, okay, for social media marketing, I searched it, well, it's probably more than that now. 364,000 people had used that particular hashtag in their posts. And if I wanted to, I could go through every one of them. Do you think I did? Heck no. But at least it gave me an idea of other companies who are using it. What are people following? Things like that. So I do use hashtags. You don't need to use a million. You absolutely shouldn't. I believe that the limit is still 30 per post. Please do not ever use 30 per post. I would defy you to show me a post that needed 30 hashtags. So sometimes just because we can doesn't mean we should. But you'll see I used a bunch there just in case. But you see I separated it from my content, just a heads up. Now, for now, the sweet spot, and I tell everybody this, is 5 to 8. 5 to 8 hashtags. Right, Jill, I feel you. This is definitely an old one. You can see I usually try and keep mine 8 or less, just to make sure. Okay. So why use a hashtag? What they're great. You've told me what it is. And so why do we use them, right? We're going to gain followers. If I'm indexed in that 365,000 people or posts, maybe someone will see my content that didn't know about me before and will follow me. That's the hope, right? We hope we're connecting with, targeted audience. Increase your engagement. If you get in front of more eyeballs because you're using a hashtag, you're hoping that you're increasing your engagement because there's more people that have seen it. Show support for social issues. Hashtag me too. Everybody remembers that movement. Hashtag thin blue line. Hashtag pride. There are all different hashtags you can use just to show your support for a particular social issue. Again, be careful because this can be divisive. But if this is an important platform and it is near and dear to your heart and part of your corporate brand, absolutely use those. Add context to a post. And this is the one that the example I use most, right? So it's walking through my house on a Monday morning, and we all know how fun those are. I tripped over basically nothing and spilled my coffee on the floor. Not the whole thing, just enough to be irritating. So I took a picture of it and said, yeah, it's definitely Monday, hashtag bad hair day. Old saying, it definitely dated me, but people knew exactly what I meant when I used that hashtag. I did not use it for people to go and look it up. I didn't try and get any sales out of it. That was just a hashtag that I added for context to a post. And then to help your target audience find you, this is a great way to get in front of people. Making sure that you use the right hashtags, and by the way, you can do research on this online, will help put you right in front of those who are interested in whatever you're writing about. So do your due diligence. You can actually use AI to create a list of viable hashtags for you. So just a heads up there. And now you've got your page set up, you've got your followers, and now you're, okay, now what do I put on this page, right? It's stressful. I do this for a living, and when I have to write about my particular business, Glitter Girl Media, it's the hardest one I do all month because I'm close to it, right? It's difficult. So here's what I will tell you. This is the things you need to ask yourself, because most of us also use social media for our personal lives, right? So you're going to ask yourself, is this post something I'd want to see? Is it good content? Is it something I would want to see? Does it speak to my audience? Is it targeted for my target audience that I want to touch base with? Is it on brand for my company? If you are and this is the craziest example, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. If I am an animal shelter, I don't want to post anything that's negative about animals. It doesn't make sense. It's not on brand, right? It just makes no sense. And I've seen crazy stuff like that. Heads up, it needs to be on brand for whatever your company or corporate vibe is. I'm not talking about just your logo, right? Not your colors. I'm talking about your personal or your professional brand as a company. And then will our followers want to read more? If I post this, will this incite them to want even more information, right? Richard, no, hashtags are for any platform. I would say they are least useful on your Google business profile and on Facebook because they are not indexed there, but there's no reason not to have them there. You don't need to create new content. You can post to all of them. And sometimes people do like to look through them. So I'd say you can use them on all, but they are definitely most important, in my opinion, on Instagram and LinkedIn. It's a great question. Posts that convey your vibe. And sometimes this is super easy and sometimes it's not. I think for most of us, we know what we want people to feel, right? What is your vibe as a business? Do you want to come off as friendly? I think most of us do. Creative. We definitely have creatives that create a vibe on content. Maggie, I'm going to work smarter, not harder. So, to your question about do I use the same hashtags on every platform? I'm not creating more hashtags for every platform, but I wouldn't use the same hashtags on every post. So, mix them up per post, but you do not need to mix them up on the different platforms. You can just, fall down that rabbit hole and be constantly changing. And I don't want people, I would rather see you guys work smarter, right? So, just sure you're mixing them up per post, not necessarily per platform. I hope that answers the question. Do I want to be seen as knowledgeable? I think we all do, right? We want to be seen as the, resource as this person. I want people to think I know stuff about social media. So I want to make sure that I'm coming off knowledgeable. Hip. I never fall into this category, and that's okay because I'm not looking for hipsters necessarily. But if it's part of your brand, I know there are certain, restaurants that want to be seen as hip. There are different consumer and retail organizations that hip is an important thing to them, and they always find a way to convey that. And then philanthropic. If you have a particular nonprofit that you work with that's close and dear to your heart, if you post about that a lot, guess what? People are going to get that vibe. They're going to see you as a philanthropic organization. And I say there's nothing wrong with that so long as it's genuine, right? These are all different vibes that you can convey. Here is another tip, and people are going to groan, I guarantee it, because they do every time. Social media posts that include video have 48% views than those that don't. That's an important number because, no doubt, Mike, seriously, because the more eyeballs that we can have on our stuff, the better. And if I can increase my odds by 48% of someone seeing content, then yeah, I know I need to intersperse that. Now, here are at least two things I will tell you about video. Not every one of your posts should be video, and I'm going to tell you why. Back in the day, there were these things called newspapers. And in these newspapers, there was two kinds of ads. There were display ads, which were the big ones with all the pictures and they looked real pretty, and the little tiny classified ads that were just liners. And just like those newspapers, people read different kinds of content. Some people only want to see video. Some people only want to see static posts. We need to fall somewhere in the middle, right? We want to make sure we're catching every at bat that we can. So we need to create different kinds of content for those people. But I will say this, when you post video in your feed, and when you see video in your feed as a user, stop for a minute just to see what it's about, right? A lot of times static don't get that stop. So intersperse video. Now, this is for my friends like me, and Laura, we talked about this, who don't necessarily want to be on video. I don't like to appear on video. I like to produce videos and put them out, but I don't want my face to necessarily be on there. There's a reason that I do social media, and that's because I like to be behind the scenes, right? There are plenty of opportunities to create video, even from pictures, that don't have to have your face. You don't have to be the talking head, and that's okay. I like those. I like all kinds of video, so we can mix it up. So don't be afraid to create video if you don't like to be on camera. That's totally acceptable. So here are some ideas for video content. Yes, Shayla, that would include stories and reels. Those are video. Yep. I absolutely want to put that in the mix. I will tell you, I don't necessarily use those because I can't schedule them ahead of time. But when I'm posting, it still shows up in video. Jill, I will have to go read that one because I didn't see it. So I will definitely cover that. So ideas for video content, product launches. If you have something new that you're offering, whether it be a product or a service, that's fantastic. People want to know what you have that's new. It may be something they're not familiar with or that they've been looking for all along. So letting people know what you have in your arsenal is awesome, right? Behind the scenes posts. Everybody likes to feel like they're, the peeling back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz and they get to actually see the behind the scenes stuff. People feel like you're inviting them in, that you're letting them be a part of your brand. So that's always a great way. I know that some of you are in the Akron area. Stan Hewitt has a tour that they do every year that's called the Nooks and Crannies Tour. And you only get to see these particular behind the scenes things in this mansion when you do that particular tour. It sells out because people want to see all the behind the scenes stuff. So just a heads up there. Special events, obviously, if you're having if you're an author and you're doing a book signing, if you are a nonprofit organization and you have a huge fundraiser coming up, if you are just opening your business and you're having a ribbon cutting or an open house, these are awesome things to make a video about, even a preview. I will tell you, I run a women working in professional development group. We're having a Christmas party at the world's biggest indoor Christmas museum. Heck yeah, I'm going out there and doing a video letting people know this is what you get to see and here's who you get to meet to try and bolster those ticket sales, right? So all kinds of fun stuff you can do with that. If you have a new employee, what a great way to welcome them and make them feel like part of the team, but it's more information you can put out about your company so that people can start to relate to you and your team as real live people. It's very easy for us to forget, yeah, all these emails are actually coming from a real person. All this social media comes from real people. So highlighting a new employee is not only you rolling out the welcome mat for them, but it also lets your followers know, A, we care about our team. So guess what? If you're ever hiring again, they know you spoil your team. And B, we care about them enough, we want you to know about them. We want you to know that we've welcomed them and we want you to work with them. So that is a great video fodder. And then shout outs. These are my favorite. Sometimes not about us, right? It's not about our business as much as we want it to be. And that's 100% not only acceptable, but encouraged. So if I go somewhere and I've had a great pastry just from a little corner shop, I let people know about it because I know that can not only show them that I really appreciated what they provided, but it also lets the people in my network know, hey, here's a new place, go check it out, you're going to enjoy it. And you know how many times people have thanked me? Hey, thanks for letting me know about that. I'd never known about that. And just awesome ways to connect with followers via video. There are tons, but these are just a few. Socially conscious marketing. We talked about that a little bit. We use these platforms for lots of things, and being socially conscious is a great way to use them if we are okay with sharing those socially conscious ideas with our followers, right? There's not a person in this world that can't get behind recycling, right? So if you're putting out stuff about recycling, or, if you have there's someone doing one of those national shred days where you can bring all your stuff and have it shredded, an awesome way to let folks know about, where you stand on that. If it's Pride and you want to put something out about that, you absolutely can. Just like if it's a thin blue line post, it's National First Responders Day, fill in the blank, whatever that looks like, you can absolutely use those kind of posts in your feed. Just remember, sometimes those can be divisive, and that's okay. I will tell you, being 100% honest with you, there are certain things that I will put out that let people know where I stand on a particular socially, charged topic, and I'm 100% okay with that. There are others that, you will not look at my feed and know who I'm going to vote for, but you will know that I am for this, against this, but that's part of my brand, right? You absolutely can see that. I don't do a lot of it, and I'm very careful, but I will use my social platforms to, help encourage people to work with local nonprofits that may be, socially charged. Here's an example of a good one, right? We offer military and first responders a 10% discount at this particular shop. I think that's great. I too love military and first responders. I'm happy to share that. If you can get a little bit of a savings on, something just because of you serving, that's fantastic. I love it. And that's a socially responsible post that lets people know that you support particular folks. And I think that's okay. Some other other ways to spotlight other organizations. Again, if you have business partners that you work with, I will give you a good example. I do social media marketing, strictly social media. So when I have people who, say, I have this and that, and I need work on my website. I don't do websites. That's not social media, right? That would be digital. But I do have partners that I work with that I can refer to and that I trust. And so I like highlighting them, especially if somebody has told me, hey, I need somebody to work on a website. Great. here's some information, or I will do just a random post. Hey, thanks so much to ABC Company. They always do a great job for the clients I send them. So people that I partner with and that will help market me back, that's a great way to push out information. Again, nonprofit organizations. I promise you, most of them are struggling as of late, and they can use all of the volunteers, all of the donations, all of the event attendees that we can help them get. And if it's something that's near and dear to our heart, not only as a person, but as a company, this is an awesome way to give them a shout out, put the attention on their mission and their vision, and let people know, hey, this organization doesn't want to be the best kept secret. You need to know about what they have to offer. So it doesn't mean you have to be, in the spotlight and trying to get kudos and being the guy in the boat with the camera and whatever. It's just an easy shout out. Hey, here's a link to their website. Here's a link to the event. If you're interested, I'm happy to make an introduction, whatever that looks like. I love highlighting nonprofits because I know that it will benefit them in the long run. Even if it's just from a visibility standpoint, maybe they don't get a donor out of it. Maybe they don't get a volunteer out of it, but more people know about their organization. And I love that. There's the croissants we talked about. Any small business that you can help give a leg up, post them on your social, put a link there, make sure they're reputable. I promise you, you are judged by the company you keep. So make sure it's a reputable company that will treat people nice if you are the one sending people there. But these are great ways to spotlight organizations. For instance, this is my friend Max. He has a small business. There was like the coldest day of the year last year, and he was super busy, but because we were friends, he was going to drop everything and come to my house and fix my heat. Turns out it just was that cold and I didn't need the help, but to know he was going to do that, I gave him a shout out and said, this is the dude, because he will help you if you're in a pinch. And he would. And I was glad to highlight him, and that was awesome. Here's another one of a kind pet rescue here in Akron. Great organization, and I love sharing when they need anything because I got my cat there and I love him, and I'm always happy to lend a helping hand with them if I can. Another question I get a lot. What's the best time to post? And are you ready for the big secret? The best time to post is when your target market is active on Facebook. Get creative and do some research. I promise you, if you're marketing to teachers, for instance, during the school day is not when you want to post, right? So you need to tailor that for your particular audience. They say, and by the way, they say a lot, that Wednesday is the best day, and Sunday and weekdays and weekends after 5 are the worst on Facebook. I buy that. So I think you just have to do some A/B testing, pay attention to when you're posting and the response you get versus other times. You kind of got to put in the time, right? And then how often should I post? Here's another big secret. A business should post on Facebook as often as its market will bear. I will tell you, different markets have different levels of tolerance, but I do social media audits for my clients to find out what their competitors are doing. We had a competitor that I found of a consignment retail shop who posted an average, just an average, it could be more, of 27 times a day. I don't know who in this world is that interesting. I know I'm not, and I wouldn't want to try and come up with content that much. So I promise you, she had over 30,000 followers, and for every post, you would get 1 or 2 likes. If that were the case for me, I would have wigged out, because that is not a level of interaction. But it literally was like opening a fire hose on your audience. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to like because they know something else is coming along in 30 seconds, or they've just gotten to their feed and you've already posted 20 times today. They don't even know what to start liking. So just be careful. And again, watch. Post 2 times per week, post 3 times per week, and see how your interaction goes, right? Shoot for 1 post daily, Monday through Friday. That's high. That is a high number. I will tell you, for my business in general, and I am a social media business, I post an average of 3 times per week. That's just me, because that's what my market will bear, and I've done the research. Go for quality versus quantity. It's not just about how often, but it's about what are you putting out there and how is your audience receiving it. And then keep an eye on your results. You have to watch to see how things are unfolding for you, right? If you don't know what's working, how do you know how to replicate it? If you don't know what's not working, how do you know how to that you should change it up, right? We have to watch those results. Stephanie, I'm going to answer that at the end, but yes, you're going to post in the off season, just not as often. So I'll come back to that. How do I get all this done, right? You have to schedule ahead of time. I'm sure that there are people like me in the room that had every intention of, post today. And then you get sidelined with staffing issues, people walking in, fires you have to put out, and a post it and go out. And that happens all the time, right? If we do this ahead of time, we don't have to worry about it. Here are some scheduling platforms, most of which have a free component. Some of them are paid, but where you can schedule everything ahead of time. You can also schedule per platform, but for my business, I schedule everything on 8 different platforms. So I'm not going to 8 different, platforms and putting together a calendar. I'm posting from one spot. So just a heads up there. When you need graphics, and this is the tool I told you I would tell you about, most of you probably already know about it. Canva, I love with a great big red heart. And I joke around that when they're giving out Canva tattoos, I'm getting one because it is integral to my business. Selena, it's awesome, isn't it? See, we've got other people who love it too. It is fabulous, and the price is right. Okay, you can use it for free. Here's what I'm going to tell you: if you need to do any kind of ongoing graphics, plunk down than $119.90 per year. I will tell you, I am never happier than the day they charge my card for that $120 because it is worth so much more. I promise you, I would pay that per month to use it. Let's not tell them. We don't want to start paying that, but it is fabulous. If you have teams and different people that need to use it, $300 for the first 5 seats. Okay. If you are a not-for-profit or an educator, meaning like a licensed school, you can get Canva Pro for free. It is unbelievable. My son is an art teacher and he gets to use it for free. Now, I thought it was hilarious. He was doing a document. I saw he printed it. There was a typo in it. I said, can I help you? Because I'm a stickler when it comes to typos, right? He's like, well, I don't know. I use this tool and you may not be familiar with it. And it's Canva. I'm like, I train people to use Canva, and it made me laugh. But just goes to show, even in my own house, people didn't know what I did. But yes, Canva is awesome. So just a heads up there. Check the tool out. They have templates in there, millions and millions of templates. And the reason they can keep their prices down is because all of the content is user created, right? And there you can follow people that, if they have the same aesthetic as you, it's awesome. It's an awesome tool. We're actually putting together, I think, Jill, we did it for December. We're doing a Canva training. So make sure you join us. It is my favorite tool in the entire world. I want to be respectful of your time. We're right at 11:59, so if anybody needs to hop off, they can. But I am happy to stay around and answer questions. I know we have some in the hopper that I didn't get to. You guys have my info here. If you want, screenshot it. You can text me, email me. I'm happy to answer your questions. I'd love to learn more about your business. So if you want to set up a virtual coffee, I do those in the first and second weeks of the month, and I would love to do that. So I will happily answer any questions.
Okay, so we have Trish that asked how to send an invite to like your page.
Trish, if you email me, I will screenshot where the invite button is. I don't know that I can find it fast enough to show you here, but it literally is one button and then you just select people. Now, you can only invite people with whom you are connected personally, but it's great. You want to make sure that you're inviting everyone in your network. By the way, there is a button where you can invite up to 1,000 people at a time, just blanket invite. I know that a lot of us probably have more followers than that on Facebook, but you should be asking everyone that you can to follow your company. Don't prejudge. Don't think somebody's not interested. And I'll show you where that is.
All
Richard,
right.
I am. Sorry, I just saw yours come in. I am in Akron, but I work nationwide. So all the things we talked about today apply locally and nationwide.
Okay. Back up a bit. If you do not yet have a website and have not officially launched your business, when should you set up your business Facebook page?
So here's what I'll tell you. When you decide on your company name, go out and secure the URLs for all of the platforms, right? Make sure you check them before you name your company if you've not done it yet, so that you can find that. But again, remember, social media is nothing but arrows to your website. So you can kind of do a preview, especially if you're going to do, if you have brick and mortar, you're going to do an open house, let people know it's coming. I would say it probably depends on the kind of business too. But you definitely want to secure those social URLs before you even think about starting marketing. But yes, I would not me personally, I wouldn't do a whole lot of marketing unless I had a website to send people to or something that they could, land on and make a buying decision.
Next up, how often do you post if you're a nonprofit?
Depends on the kind of nonprofit. I'd say for everyone, if you are unsure, start with 3 times per week. Do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and see how it goes. And also, yes, Jennifer, I saw yours come in. We did record it. You will get a copy of that. The link to the Canva training is on our website, Stephanie. I'm hoping that if you email me, I will send you the link when it's set up. I don't know if it's set up yet, Laura.
It is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the non-for-profits. I'm sorry. Yes, 3 times per week. Try it. And by the way, go look at other nonprofits like yours and see how often they're posting and how it's working for them. That's what I do in a social media audit. We look at 3 of your competitors and I hand you, here's what I found. Here is, how often they post. Here is how often I were post. If I were you, here's the kind of content. And I basically hand a social media plan. So you can go out and do all that research on your own. There's no reason you have to pay somebody if you know what you're looking for. So maybe take a class or 2 and, go forth and do an audit and do a nice A/B test and see how often are you posting versus how often are they posting and who's getting better interaction.
Okay, so Jill had a question a little earlier, but basically she has a friend whose Facebook page was disabled and Facebook has been very helpful. Do you have any advice if that happens?
I wish that I had some great advice. Unfortunately, we are at their mercy and they are extremely difficult to get a hold of. And by the way, this is not just a Facebook thing. It is every platform with the exception, and they're not as great as they used to be, but LinkedIn is more helpful than the others. But Facebook, Google, Instagram, because it's also in the Meta family, can be a challenge. And I'm sorry I don't have more help than that. If I had the magic pill, I would give it to everyone because it's a pain, but I get it.
All right, I have it. Facebook doesn't seem to want to push people to a website, but to keep you on their site. Do you feel like that's correct?
I think that's every platform, but yes. Now here's the thing. They're still putting out those contact me buttons. They're still letting you post URLs. They're not going to actively shove people off of their website, right? Facebook is still their website. However, the more often we put URLs to get people to our pages, the better off we are. So just make sure you keep at it and make sure everything on your page leads people back to your website. Yes, they're not cooperative because guess what? Either they want people to stay on their platform or they want you to pay. That's all right. We're going to play within the confines of what they let us do, and we're going to keep our money in our pocket unless it's time to, start investing.
All right. Not sure if we answered this one already because it's under the Q&A. Yes, we did answer that one anyway. How can I learn to use Canva? I get lost in there. So we are it is on December 12th. Heather is going to be doing a workshop for SCORE on Canva. I'm super excited.
I can't wait. It's been years in the making.
And I just figured out that it's picked up by the regional level. So we'll have lots of people from all over the region of this country. So it's going to be a great,
how exciting.
I know, I just found that out. So it's going to be great. It's December 12th. It is on the website already, but you might have to scroll down, scroll through the calendar to find it. Most SCORE websites only show you, 10 of them. But yeah, so we are both super excited about that. Okay, how I have 4,000 Instagram followers, but only 373 on Facebook, even though I always post to both. I'm guessing most of them are my personal followers. I feel like organically I can't get seen. I even tried ads and no success. My page health is excellent, but I can't seem to get more followers. Interesting. What do you think, Heather?
Well, that's typical. Much easier to get them on Instagram because generally in Instagram, if you're following someone, they will follow you back. Facebook is just the sticky wicket. It's difficult. Once we hit and we've invited everyone in our particular friends list, we're limited, right? So I would say encourage your friends to help. If you have staff, encourage them to ask people to follow the page. The next step after that is, literally paid. And you said you've done that. And I will tell you, make sure if you've done paid, Do you do a campaign specifically for getting people to follow? Because just putting out information doesn't do it. Offer them something free. I don't know what kind of business you have, and if you want to email me, we can talk about that. But I will offer, hey, if you follow me on Facebook, I will send you a list of the 23 top things you need to know about Facebook marketing. It's that drip campaign, and I ask people, it's securing those people. Doesn't mean they'll stay, by the way. They can follow you and unfollow you, but just things to try, because it's difficult. If I had the secret to it, I'd be talking to you guys from Aruba right now. It's just difficult.
She says it's vacation rental.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that, and I don't want to tie everybody else up. But if you email me, we can chat about it a little bit.
Would you launch a new product without inventory as a pre-order offer? I get a feeling it would be bad to offer something that people can't get right away. And we'll lose the
Depends on what it is.
opportunity.
I will tell you, I can fall on both sides of it as a consumer, by the way. I order pre-orders because I'm okay with it if it's something I'm willing to wait on. So I ordered some pink Santa Claus pajamas because, well, glitter girl, right? And it was a pre-order, but I ordered them at the beginning of September. So I don't feel like I need Santa Claus pajamas until then. So I could make a case either way. Just make sure you're going to get the product. You don't want, to have, well, now all of a sudden we have a 6-month delay. That's not going to look good on your brand, right? So just be careful.
All right, Stephanie asks, in regards to her husband's tax business, do you have any tips or advice on promoting that, getting followers for that typical type of business?
The same as any other business, right? But I will say your process is probably a little longer because they have to trust you with all of their financial info. And to the person who asked about, should I market in off season? Absolutely. Because you don't want people just calling you in January, right? You want them year round so that you can get them set up. I say this because I used to do content for my friend who was doing taxes at the time. And he got so hated that we would only post sporadically. But it was a great thing, and we did post year round. So I don't know if there's any secret to getting, it's not necessarily any more difficult for a tax person to get a follower than anybody else. Getting followers on Facebook is difficult. So pound the pavement, make sure you're inviting your network, he's inviting his. Thank you, Stavros. I love my logo. But yeah, just make sure you're taking every opportunity you can, and all the tips we talked about, getting followers, make sure you're doing all of them. There's not really an easy way.
All right, and Heather, I actually have a question for you. I now see that a lot of people, they make a post and then in their comments or in their comments, I believe, they do the @ symbol followers, and then it
Yes,
shows up on my feed.
yes.
What do you think of that?
Okay, I dig it mostly. Let's put it that way. Do you want every one of their posts to be an @followers post? It kind of falls into the same category as that going live thing. I use it when it's imperative that everyone in my feed see it, but I don't overuse it, right? We don't want to overplay our hand. So I think it's an awesome tool. And by the way, people can opt out of that, so that doesn't mean that everyone's seeing it. But
Oh,
I enjoy it as a consumer and I enjoy it as a marketer. But again, I'm using it very sparingly.
interesting. Oh, let's see. As a starting Instagram page, people said that just following people blindly and they'll follow you back. What do you have to say about that?
I never do anything blindly when it comes to marketing. There is always a plan. So if I am a company that can only service local people, or that, if I find out that, the lion's share of my followers are from 5 miles around me, guess what? I'm geo-targeting and picking people that are in that footprint first. So that whole let's, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, it's not a marketing plan. Hope's not a strategy, right? We want to make sure that we're finding the right people. So even on Instagram, when I'm finding followers and I'm in my pajamas watching Yellowstone, I make sure that I'm doing it with a particular goal in mind. So, I do not subscribe to the whole just follow people and see what will happen. Because just people aren't who I'm targeting. I'm targeting specific folks. That's me.
All right, I think we are all caught up. Again, everybody, you'll get the slides. You're also going to get this recording. I will probably add a link to the Canva workshop so that you guys can access it quickly. Otherwise, it is at SCORE Akron website. So you can go to score.org and then search Akron. Heather, thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you
been
so much for having
amazing.
me. I'm excited. We're doing Instagram in November and then Canva in December. So if you can join us, we would love you to.
Yes, and then we'll be most months in 2025, Heather will be doing something. Sometimes it's Google, sometimes it's LinkedIn. She's got great workshops for us. So, all right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.